Manchester United owners the Glazers have little appetite to sell up at the current moment in time, according to reports. They've been in charge of things at Old Trafford ever since taking over back in 2005. And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side flying high at present, it appears they won't be going anywhere just yet. Manchester United have been owned the Glazers ever since their controversial takeover of the club 16 years ago. When that happened, many supporters feared a grim future. There were protests aplenty, but, in the end, they proved to be in vain. United were successful under the Glazers at first, with Sir Alex Ferguson managing to dethrone Chelsea at the top of the Premier League table while also steering them to Champions League glory in 2008. But with the club struggling in the years since Ferguson walked off into the sunset, unrest and hostility still remains. It was only in December 2019, as United slumped to a disappointing 2-0 defeat to Burnley at home under Solskjaer, that supporters' anger came to the surface. We will use your email address only for sending you newsletters. Please see our privacy notice for details of your data protection rights. A small section aimed death threats at the controversial owners, who have been accused of not investing enough in recent years, which led to the club itself condemning those responsible. But while the Glazers are unpopular, the Athletic suggest they won't be going anywhere just yet. It's claimed there is no evidence to suggest they're ready to up and leave Old Trafford behind, despite the way fans feel about them. United were tipped to be taken over by a Saudi Arabian consortium last year, but it's claimed the Glazers were only prepared to give up 20% of the club. Joel Glazer is involved in the day-to-day running of things and regularly talks to Ed Woodward, sometimes even more than once a day. And they'll be delighted if United can win the Premier League title this season, with Solskjaer defying expectations to steer them to second in the table. The Red Devils won their last match 9-0 against Southampton, running riot with a stirring display at Old Trafford. And with the match taking place on the 63rd anniversary of the Munich air disaster, Solskjaer has called on his players to make the Busby Babes proud. A minute's silence will take place before kick-off and all players will wear black armbands, with both captains laying wreaths in memory of those who died. And he said, "It's important for us to keep the memory alive of the Busby Babes. They're such a big part of the tradition and history of the club. They pioneered our European football contribution and they paid the ultimate price. For me to put out a team with quite a few academy players is going to be a proud moment, when you see Marcus, Rashford, Scott, McTominay, Paul, Pogba, Axel, Tuanzebe, all those boys go out there and represent Manchester United in the proper way. I hope we can honour them by putting on a proper Manchester United performance out there. To show that we can look after the game and say yeah, they'd be proud of us." Solskjaer also compared Edinson Cavani to Henrik Larsson. "It reminds me of when Henrik Larsson came over here," said the Norwegian. "You know, you've just got to enjoy the time that he's here and you've got to learn and take bits off his game. His movement and attitude, but also his preparation for the game. Everything about him just shines. He's the ultimate professional and a winner." United have already beaten Everton twice this season, in the Premier League and Carabao Cup respectively.